The Aravalli Hills, one of the oldest mountain ranges in the world, have long served as a natural shield against desertification for multiple states across their nearly 700-kilometer-long span, including the Delhi-NCR region. The hills block sand and dust from the Thar Desert while also aiding groundwater recharge and sustaining rich biodiversity. However, environmentalists warn that a recent ruling by the Supreme Court could significantly impact these ecologically vital hills.
Now, this new definition that talks about that, Aravalli Hills only more than 100 meters will be actually called Aravalli Hills, and the rest is actually open for mining initially and eventually, of course, for real estate and other developmental activities, which primarily would mean that 90% of Aravallis will completely disappear or will be ready or will be okay to be so-called developed in that sense. That means that you're further exposing this entire region, not just Delhi, but the entire region into further contamination or pollution. So given the backdrop of air pollution, this entire move, when the Supreme Court one hand was talking about taking long-term measures, rather than actually looking at protecting those natural safeguards that this region has, we are actually exploiting it further.
In its November 2025 order, the Supreme Court accepted the government's new definition for the Aravallis, which states that only landforms rising 100 meters or more above local ground level, along with their slopes and adjacent land, will be officially recognized as part of the range.
I think it's very unfortunate that the Supreme Court actually accepted the new definition that's been given by the government. We're talking about Aravalli Hills, which is one of the oldest mountain ranges that we actually have on this planet. And in many ways, it's one of the main barriers, dust barriers that Delhi has or North India has, as in something that actually separates Thar from this part of the country. And this entire 670-kilometer length of Aravalli is the one. It's not just a dust barrier in that sense. We're also talking about water recharge. We are also talking about greenery, the groundwater table, many things. And so it's in many ways it's an ecological treasure.
Environmentalists say this redefinition could strip protection from nearly 90% of the Aravalli range, weakening Delhi's natural shield against dust and pollution, impacting groundwater recharge, and damaging biodiversity corridors.
We are not really trying to address the fundamental aspects of the wind-blown dust, which is swamping the city and the region. And in that, the role of the Aravallis and the forest and the green belt becomes so critical, because that barrier is absolutely essential to protect the air quality, not only as a barrier against the dust from desert, but the green and that the whole dense forest cover is also essential for very efficient trapping of pollution and also to clean up the toxic and to mop up the toxic emissions from the air.
While the Supreme Court's acceptance of the 100-meter guideline is intended to support a more regulated framework for sustainable mining, experts fear it may unintentionally expose significant parts of the Aravalli range to increased mining and construction pressure.